And we'll kick things off with a very big story, folks. Bombshell, if you will, from Jerry Jones.
Jariah.
The story, the Cowboys will be making players stand for the national anthem, at least according to Jerry Jones.
You know, the NFL, like 2 days ago, it was revealed that they told the owners, hey, guys, don't go out and say stuff about the anthem. Like, just be quiet. Jerry Jones in his first comments, you know that SpongeBob meme where the dude like kind of walks in the door, just walks out and says, I got this, and just starts talking about the anthem policy. And which, by the way, his rules go against what the NFL said were the rules. That Jones says the Cowboys cannot stay in the locker room, have to be on the field, which is not what the NFL originally agreed to in their compromise.
In that compromise that has been put on hold.
Because it wasn't actually a compromise.
Right. So, at the end of the day, Tom, philosophical question.
How do you keep shooting yourself in the foot?
Who is to blame for the national anthem controversy? We have the president, we have the commissioner, the players, and that includes Kaepernick, or the media.
Cam Rogers is to blame.
Cam Rogers is to blame. That is not allowed.
I think, obviously, the more measured response is it's everybody.
Yeah.
No one is without blame here because if the players didn't kneel, if the owners didn't care, if the media didn't report, if Trump didn't tweet about it, we wouldn't have the issue. But I think the reality is this was pretty much over. Last year, before we got to week 3, this was pretty much a done story. And then the president tweeted about it. Mm-hmm. I think that the reality is, and even the NFL's reactions have been more based on what the president said. Even Jerry Jones said he wishes Trump's comments that they're problematic and unprecedented. I think that's a fair point. And I think the reality is, if you want to point to one specific thing that kind of changed everything here, had the president not tweeted about this, this story would have died. It would have gone away.
But he keeps resurfacing it.
Yes, that's a very good distraction.
And a couple of days ago, the president did tweet about the national anthem, saying that the debate is alive and well. It's kind of ironic because he makes the debate alive and well.
I see a lot of hearts, by the way, on YouTube as well.
Oh, they all going for Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. The YouTube commenters have been speaking.
No one is without blame, but if you want to pinpoint it to one specific thing that changed it all, I think Trump's tweets and him chiming in on it and being very anti-anthem kneeling was a big reason why.
Well, you know, Tom, I'll have more on this on my show on Friday morning.
Wait.
I'll be breaking down the national anthem. All right, next up on the list, David Irving at Rehab. What's the latest buzz here?
And it's always something with David Irving. So he was excused from camp to attend rehab. The report is he has been in and out of rehab all summer. Remember, he got suspended 4 games for the substance abuse policy for violating it. The report is that it is indeed substance abuse related. And with David Irving, on one hand, Cam, I feel very bad for one of the more underrated and immensely talented defensive tackles in the entire NFL because he has had a really, really rough offseason. He was overweight, missed much of the program, dealt with a false domestic violence accusation, now has full custody of his daughter, is now in rehab apparently. But he posted 7 sacks in 8 games last year. When the dude is on the field,
he's good.
He's one of the best in the NFL. The issue is you can't trust him to stay on the field. So on one hand, I feel bad for him as a person, and I think it's a good thing he's going to rehab to try and get his life in order. But on the other hand, like, dude, come on. You are so good, and yet you just keep having issues. Can you just figure it out? Like, if David Irving played all 16 games the past 3 years, and with the way he played last year, we would have David Irving and Aaron Donald's name in the exact same sentence. And I'm not kidding. 7 sacks in 8 games, and they weren't fluke sacks. Mm-hmm. When on the field, he is so good, but you can't trust him to stay on the field. I think that this is, in the end, his last year with the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. All right, that's the latest with David Irving. Let's talk Julio Jones. He's skipping training camp. He wants more money. He still has 3 years left on his whole 5-year, $71.25 million deal. Tom, we're 3 years away here, my man. And Julio Jones is still asking for more money here, and Falcons owner Arthur Blank told The Athletic the team wants to ensure Jones remains in Atlanta for the rest of his career. And for Julio Jones to skip the regular season, it would cost him
a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a classic standoff. Julio Jones says, wait a minute. All these receivers are making more money. Brandon Cooks got how much now?
Yeah.
Landry got what? I should be getting paid more. Now, Julio took a front-loaded deal, and now he's seeing the negative impact of that. And for the Falcons side of things, why would you tear up a 3-year deal? Like, that's not what you want to do. That's a terrible precedent. From Julio's perspective, it's like, hey, pay me. I am among the best players. I should be paid like that. There's no loyalty in the NFL. Let's not pretend that there is. Pay me right now. Standoff coming. And I get both sides in the end. If you're the Falcons, you can't do it unless you want to do some incentives and some restructuring. You cannot tear up this deal. It's not going to go over well.
So eventually Julio just budges.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think by the time we get to week 1, he'll show up.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do think that in the end.
All right, so Julio Jones, his situation very much up in the air. Whose side are you on? Type J for Julio, F for Falcons.
You can also press F to pay respects if you so feel.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next up on the list, let's talk Earl Thomas. Is he done with Seattle?
Well, this was the report out of Dallas earlier this week from NBC Sports here in Dallas, and it was funny to me. The report was, hey, he's going to hold out, and he's done. He's upset with Seattle, and then all the Seattle people were like, oh, this is a report from Dallas. This isn't believable. And then, like 8 hours later, Rap Sheet says pretty much the exact same thing. He's holding out. Here are the key notes from this NBC Sports report. Namely, he's upset with Seattle. He's done. He is not going to go to camp until he gets paid. Seattle will not give Thomas a new deal until he reports. So something's got to give. Either one breaks their word or there's a trade. Those are the options there. And then the other big note here from the report is that he's going to sell his Seattle house. Now, as of right now, that house is not on the market. I can confirm that for you.
You searched.
I did. I know where Earl Thomas lives. His house is not on the market right now. Not to sound too creepy.
That was
It kind of
borderline
sounded
creepy. Yeah.
I know the address at which Earl Thomas lives.
There you go.
Is that better?
That's a little
There we
better.
go.
Rephrase.
House is not on the market at this time. Doesn't mean it's not going to change. And I think that there's still the reality that this could just be a leverage game for Earl Thomas. Because as you said earlier in the show, Cam, he wants to get paid.
Yep.
That's his number one thing. Doesn't matter if it's the Cowboys, Texans, Cardinals, Bengals, Browns. He wants to get paid.
He wants the security.
Yes, and I think rightfully so, frankly.
So with that, is he going to Oakland, Tom?
I
Because
saw
there's
some comments in there.
buzz that maybe it'll happen.
This is going to sound very familiar. Thomas reportedly went up to the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, and says, hey, come get me. Now, where have we heard that one before?
I love it.
Sounds very familiar. Now, that the conversation happened was confirmed, but the Las Vegas Review-Journal says it was kind of more in jest, and it was like, hey, you guys coming to get me? Like a question, like a laughing, like, oh, you guys going to come get me now? That was the joke there. Here's the overall issue with the Raiders. They don't make sense for him because they don't need a safety. And you're trying to pay Khalil Mack?
Yeah.
Why are you going to trade for Earl Thomas? So it's fun. It'd be great in Madden, but it doesn't actually make sense on the field with Obi Melifonwu as a young player. You've got Reggie Nelson. You've got Carl Joseph. So yeah, it'd be a fun addition to the defense, but money-wise and depth-wise, it just doesn't make sense. So
Earl Thomas at the center of many rumors.
Not going to happen. It would be fun, but it's not going to go down as good as intriguing as it would be in the end.
Hit us up in this reaction poll, folks. Will the Seahawks trade Earl Thomas? Like for yes and a wow face for no. We'll see what happens going forward with him. You guys are watching NFL Daily. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll see the link at the bottom of your screen, youtube.com/chatsportstv. That is the way to go to subscribe. We're going for 100,000, Tom.
Yeah, that's the new number. We're at about 58K right now, a little bit over that. But those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up, Cam. You don't understand what I'm referencing, and it makes me very sad because I've done it like 5 different times, and you've not picked up on it. I'll send you the link later today, okay?
Okay, I bet you I haven't seen it. I'm not well cultured
sure
with
you
movies.
haven't. It's a new movie. You only watch stuff from last century.
Yeah, only Fat Joe and Lil Tupac and
God. Let's just move on here.
All right, Khalil Mack, contract. What's going on?
Kind of getting ugly.
Yeah.
And this is not good for the Raiders. Now, The Athletic reported a deal is not close, and the situation has started to kind of veer toward ugly, not close at all. And then Rappaport said something very similar today. Talks, quote, have not gone smoothly, and things are tense. Not great. Not what you want to have if you're the Raiders and Khalil Mack. Look, the report is I think he wants 6 years, 120, 65 guaranteed. Where do I sign? Like, that's a no-brainer for me. Like, yeah, it's expensive, but the guaranteed money is less than Von Miller somehow, if that's actually accurate.
It's kind of funny, Tom. This number almost falls in line with my projection for Donald.
Because it should be the same.
Yeah.
They should be very similar, and, like, just pay the man. Like, I know it's a lot of money. There's some sticker shock there. get the deal done. It's Khalil Mack. He's one of the premier passers in the entire NFL. He's immensely talented. He's young. He doesn't have injury problems. Get him signed and get him locked up. Like, get him in camp, get him going, get him to learn the new scheme with Paul Gunther. Not that it's a big change or you still can get to the quarterback anyway. But this should not be a big problem. I know that it's a lot of money. It's Khalil Mack. He's worth it. It's almost a no-brainer deal for me. Like, I thought it was going to be 5 years, $100 million with 65 guaranteed. So yeah, sign him up right now. It's just, this shouldn't be that big of a problem for the Raiders to get a deal done, and hopefully he's there in week 1.
All right.
And I know that they don't do deals with players who aren't in camp, and that's going to be an issue here as well. But it shouldn't have come to this in the first place.
Referencing a comment there on YouTube Live.
Yeah, yep. which is a very astute comment as well.
All right, let's talk about Aaron Donald here.
Good job.
He didn't report to camp.
Which is not a surprise either.
The clock is ticking for him.
If you're Aaron Donald, you're kind of like,
yeah.
Like, because I thought it was a precursor to the Donald deal, but now if you're Donald, you're kind of like, you could pay Cooks and Gurley and not me. You just traded for Cooks. I've been here from the start.
If you're Donald, you're hurt right now. Let's be real.
You're probably a little bit angry.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like now the Rams have the money to still make it happen, but if you're the Rams, like, we know less about the exact money numbers than Oakland and Mack, but he's going to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. 5 years, $100 million, 6 years, $120 million. I think that's a good deal for both sides. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but frankly, Cam, this might be a little bit crazy. If you discount positional value, i.e. non-quarterbacks, I think Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL.
Exactly said that
this
morning.
He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Pay him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. So, yeah, like, I don't want to insult Khalil Mack with this poll, but it's Aaron Donald. Give the man his money because guess what? He deserves it in a big way.
All right, hit us up in that reaction poll on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. Next up, are you ready for some Dez Bryant talk? We'll get there, but first a word from our friends at Man Crates.
Man Crates, awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share. And some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man Crates, awesome gifts for men.
All right, let's talk Dez Bryant. Is he going to Cleveland?
We gave it 1 star on Monday.
Yep.
Maybe now it's 2 star or 2 heads.
I think it has to be.
So John Dorsey comes out and says, yeah, look, we discussed adding Dez Bryant. Now, I do just want to make a general note here. That's not exactly a crazy thing to hear. I think that almost every NFL team has at least discussed Dez Bryant. Now, some of those conversations went, hey, well, how about Dez? Nah, we don't need Dez. We got like 5 receivers that we really, really like. The flip side for Cleveland is Josh Gordon, of course, is going to miss the start of training camp. I'll also make note of this, Ricardo Lewis, a backup receiver, out for the season. So now you've got Gordon and Coleman. Gordon, a bit of a question mark here. Landry might play on the outside, which is not going to work. He's going to be a slot guy, guaranteed by the end of the year. Coleman and maybe Dez Bryant in there too.
Wow.
Maybe a bench and or trade Corey Coleman.
Oh man,
it's fun.
Changes in Cleveland.
It's interesting. Now there was the report that Dez want to sign with a contender, which one hand, yes, I believe it because he wants to get paid after this year. So what's the best way to do that? Go to an actually good football team. But like with Connor Barwin, contender is a loose term. He'll sign with a team that's decent and then like, oh yeah, they're a contender. I think they're a contender. Therefore, I signed with them.
Brad in the comments, I wish he could go back to the Cowboys.
Will not happen.
Next up, Antonio Gates. Is he re-signing with the Chargers? They might need him.
Well, his agent said last night on a SiriusXM show that he is negotiating with Ed McGuire, who is the Chargers kind of finance guru. So we're getting closer. Now,
Makes sense.
I'll tell you this as well with Antonio Gates when it comes to this. Their depth chart is a mess. Now, the Chargers wanted Gates in town before camp starts on Friday. So we got 2 days camp. They need another tight end because they got Virgil Green and 5 guys no one has heard of before.
Yeah, I don't know them.
And that's okay because no one has either. So bring in Gates to be your receiving tight end in the red zone. Virgil's your blocker. Gates is your rotational tight end to help out in the passing game. I think it makes so much sense with Hunter Henry now out for the entire season.
All right.
Brutal injury. That's terrible for him. It was going to be
that was really rough.
His breakout year.
All right, so that's the latest there on Antonio Gates. Let's talk about Mike Mitchell now, perhaps to the Arizona Cardinals.
On one hand, I get it because Mike Mitchell played under Steve Wilkes in Carolina back in 2013, one of Mitchell's best seasons. Wilkes was the DB coach. But Mitchell, and the reason he's taking the physical too, Mitchell has some foot injuries. He's lost some of his speed there. I am okay with them bringing in a safety, but why would it be Mike Mitchell over Trey Boston, over Kenny Vaccaro, over all these other guys? I don't think Mitchell's the best guy, even though there is some scheme familiarity there in the end.
All right, let's go to the next rumor on the list. Sam Darnold holding out. Not really a concern for the Jets.
Well, yes and no. So he didn't report with the rest of the first-year guys on Tuesday. Veterans show up tomorrow. First practice is on Friday, so it's not technically a holdout yet, but so was Roquan Smith. Of course, that is now a holdout for the Bears. So Darnold is one of 3 players still unsigned. You got Roquan, Darnold, and Dante Pettis, the strange second-rounder left unsigned. It's nothing to panic about yet. I bet the deal gets done, but clock's ticking there,
No
Jets.
doubt.
Let's get the deal done. It shouldn't be that hard for a third-round or number 3 overall pick to get signed.
Let's talk about Andrew Luck. Good to go for the preseason, Tom.
Yeah, he is going to play. That's the report. That's what Frank Reich said. He says, quote, I would plan on him playing in Seattle. Of course, Seattle was the week 1 game against the Colts.
This is huge.
He missed all of 2017 with a shoulder injury. Has been working with regular-sized football now, so that's a good size there as well. I'll make on this, too, though. He said today that there's still some soreness in his shoulder. That is a bit of a red flag for me.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. Now, I think he'll be okay. I think that's just the nature of it. You know, you haven't worked out that shoulder in the same way in a long time. There's going to be some soreness there. But he says his arm strength is almost back to full. So, little good, little bad, but it is still a bit of a red flag for me for Andrew Luck.
All right, how many games for Luck this year? I think it's 16. I think he can get through the entire season. So I'll throw up my heart on that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He burned me last year in fantasy in like two different leagues. Big mistake on my part.
Rough for fantasy owners out
Drafted
there.
too many Colts guys.
We are presented by Man Crates, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know an awesome guy who needs a gift? At Man Crates, gifts are carefully curated like a museum, but actually exciting. Jerky, grams, project kits, and so much more. Designed to delight any guy out there. mancrates.com. Get it done. Awesome gifts guys love, ladies and gentlemen. And to wrap up the show, a little update here on Carson Wentz.
We changed it. We were going to talk about how he might go on the PUP list, but that is no longer the case.
Perfect.
He is going to stay off of the PUP list. A really good sign for Wentz. Now, that does not mean he's going to play instantly. The reality is that Wentz is still going to take it very slow in camp. He will be limited early. But again, the rehab for Carson Wentz is ahead of schedule. He was in 7-on-7 drills during OTAs. It's a really good sign for Wentz that he's not going to go on the PUP list because that means he's closer than expected.
Yep.
And it lets him hang out with the team and do at least a little bit of work, if only some verbiage and maybe just throwing around a little bit.
And he's been very confident the entire time that
he's going to play in
week
week 1.
Yeah.
He's going to play in week 1. I'm now giving this one four heads on this one.
Right.
He's going to play week 1, barring a setback.
Carson Wentz in position to be the starter for week 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles. We will remind you guys, of course, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get us to 100,000 subscribers. The link is at the bottom of your screen. It is very simple to remember. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Subscribe to our channel. We're talking about NFL coverage, NBA coverage, my morning talk show, of course, and NFL breaking news shorts, all of the like.
Hey, during the season, we're going to have plenty of highlights for you guys, too.
Yes,
You will
absolutely.
like those, I promise.
Be sure to get that done, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are wrapping up the program here on NFL Daily. Good show, Tom. Hit him up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. I'm at Mr. Rogers99. Cam Rogers here, signing off.